What's going on, ladies and gentlemen? Welcome in. It's the Brass Ring Media Podcast. How's it going? It's Wednesday, March 5th, a rare Wednesday edition of our first of two shows throughout the week. Thanks so much for being here. I'm your host, Zach Haydorn. That is Tyler Sage. Tyler, what's going on, man?
Hey, man, just full of hustle, loyalty, and respect over here. Those
Hustle,
tenets of my life that I never have given up. I think we've talked on the show that I do improv because I'm a 30-year-old who has a wrestling podcast, so of course I do that. Really typecasting myself here in this life, but also do stand-up from time to time, and I definitely have worked in the John Cena stuff, and it hits. So it's still like that's a good way to know that it's culturally relevant. That if people are not watching, that's like big news, right? Like you can in the right crowd, you can get a Roman Reigns thing in, but that's about it. Besides The Rock and John Cena at this point.
Yeah. I mean, like even here in Chicago, the local guy who does like the afternoon drive show on sports talk radio, he also does his own podcast on the side, and like maybe during WrestleMania week, he'll talk a little wrestling on the show. But this week the podcast was titled John Cena Turns Heel. Like, and so it's like, at that point that like, I don't know that whether you can tell whether or not it's going to be good, but you can tell that people are going to be interested and people are going to, I think tune in to see like what happens next with it. And that is something that, that WWE has on its side with this, that there is broad interest, I think, in seeing maybe the train wreck of how this was going to work out, or like it just being a fun story going into WrestleMania, the busiest time of the year. And I think that the media response and like just, I'm sure like you had too, maybe some casual fan friends that pop into a text message, go, whoa, Cena turned heel, and it's like, yeah, all right, this is like reached a broader audience than just people who are watching Raw on Netflix on a weekly basis.
For sure.
All right, quick intro, and then we're gonna get to the business at hand. We're gonna talk a lot about the John Cena and Rock stuff. We are going to talk about Iyo Sky winning the WWE Women's World Championship on Raw. Another curveball heading into WrestleMania season. So we're going to talk a lot about that. There's some breaking news about AEW that just hit. So we'll discuss that and anything that you guys bring to the table in our live chat. So this is the Brass Ring Media Podcast. We're live with this show twice a week. Usually it's on Tuesday nights and on Thursday or Friday afternoons. This week we shifted the schedule around a little bit due to, real life stuff, but here we are. And thanks so much. So if you're watching on YouTube, hello. If you are on X, hi. You're going to want to subscribe to the One True Sport YouTube channel. If you do that, you get to listen to this show and check this show out twice a week. You also get all of our other Brass Ring Media shows. Nocturnal Knockout is our post-show brand with Robert Vallejos. He's been doing Raw post shows for a better part of 2 months. He did a post-Elimination Chamber show that's well worth checking out. Even right now, I think it's really fun to listen to what everybody was thinking on that night. So that's up here in the feed, and a bunch of other content with One True Sport. So hit subscribe if you haven't done so. You can catch all of our Brass Ring Media podcasts on this YouTube channel now, but also on our own podcast feed. So if you want to bring our shows with you with an audio podcast, please do by heading over to Brass Ring Media, wherever you get your podcast, and subscribe. Also, as everybody's pointing out in the chat, yes, the Kick-Ash podcast is on Saturday. Don't miss that one. That's like, seriously, it's one of the best shows going today. And you don't want to miss it. It's on 10 Eastern right here on Saturday mornings.
And for Eddie, I got the meme ready for you.
There it is.
Which is good. YouTube probably won't flag that as a curse word. So, but you know what it said in the middle there.
Yes. Well done. So subscribe on YouTube and head over and subscribe to our podcast. If you get everything there, you're gonna want to take us on the road in the car, whatever. Go ahead and do that. We really appreciate it. We also offer Brass Ring Media membership. We've got a membership option where you can pick up exclusive content for our members. And that includes all of our pay-per-view and PLE review shows. Tyler and I did our elimination review show earlier this week. All of our members can check that out, so you can hear exactly what we thought about the pay-per-view, exactly what we thought about the heel turn for John Cena, what Cody's role was in that, how The Rock did, and so much more. We'll also be doing a pay-per-view review show this weekend for AEW Revolution. So it's a great time, especially with WrestleMania in the distance here, to become a member and try us out. We've got a $4 a month membership tier. That's it. That gets you access to everything. We have a gold tier, which gets you an added bonus and added ways to engage with the show on a regular basis. But if you just want the content and you just want that regular tier, $4. That's all it is. Thank you to our gold members, Sean, Andrew, and now Adam Kidd joined us as a gold member. Adam, thank you so much. We do appreciate it. We could not do the show with any of our members, but especially our gold members. So thank you. As far as the show goes today, the live chat's open. We got Eddie in there. We've got Matthew in there, and others. So hopefully you're mixing it up. We always love to keep an eye on that on the live chat. Our super chats are open as well. Lifeblood of Brass Ring Media. If you're able to drop us a super chat, whether it's a question or a comment or something else, we'll get to it. We'll get to it on the show, and we appreciate it. Any contribution amount very much helps us out, and we thank you in advance. We got something from Matthew here that we will get to in a minute. So thank you, Matthew. Keep them coming, guys. We really do appreciate it. All right, so let's dig in and let's get to our topics and let's get the show rolling.
And just to another little sales point here, would we go an hour and a half on the Cena turn essentially?
Yeah.
Monday on our Patreon exclusive show. So for that, you get a pay-per-view review and a regular show every week. So that was good content. We went hard, and I very much enjoyed our discussion on all of this. So.
I did too. It was very much. I got off the air being like, "Yeah, man, we were able to do that. We did that with our style of show, and I think strong analysis, but appropriate criticism too, where it lended itself. So yeah, check it out, guys. Hopefully, you guys all do that. We'd love to have you guys as members for sure. Speaking of that. What did you think of just the follow-up on Raw this week for that angle? I mean, we didn't get Rock, we didn't get Cody, we didn't get Cena. I've got some thoughts on that, but what did you think of the follow-up on this?
A couple ways, right, to look at it. Historically, this is a better follow-up than 96, because I don't know if I don't know when the last time you watched the June 7th, 1996 edition of Nitro. They are
it's been a long time.
They're at Universal Studios outside, and there is a brief little line about, you got to check out what happened, because they were still the big business back then. Yeah, doing the replays, right? So I don't think they really had a promo until the following week or even 2 weeks after on what the heck was going on. So a good follow-up in comparison historically, because that's the level of this move, right?
Yeah.
So also this is the problem with not wanting to go up against the Final Four, which I really have never thought is a problem, but that's just me. On the side note, do you watch Final Four games live?
Well, I mean, I haven't watched the Final Four game live in, I don't know, I guess since WrestleMania became a 2-night thing.
Okay. And I'm just because of all the sports that I really liked when I was younger, I'd say baseball and college basketball have fallen off the hardest for me on my consumption. So I don't know if that's an age thing or a me thing. So I just wanted to ask, and everyone in the chat too, let me know. But I don't know if those audiences are very close knit together. Houston versus Alabama in the Final Four, I'd probably be doing something else if WrestleMania wasn't going on.
Yeah,
personally.
honestly, I would venture to guess that it's less about the fan crossover and it's more about like the TKO group presence at the Final Four. Like I think that like Nick Khan and like you know what I mean? Like I feel like it's like they want to be there.
And they want their weekend, right? Like this is our weekend. We don't want to share.
And they want
that machismo, corporate machismo BS stuff.
Right.
But anyway, that's like
you add that together and
The negative side of it is like of that being extended is you do have a lot of time to fill here, and like Cena coming out or Rock coming out. You know, we're gonna get Cody on Friday, and so like what I thought they did here was really good for like the situation they put themselves in for like the length of time you have. Because like not to jump too far ahead, but you know, I'm quick to criticize CM Punk. Spoiler alert for everybody, but I thought this was like an incredible promo, an incredible way to open the show. So I thought it was really good. Now there's a lot in the show that like, you know, is kind of the problem in pro wrestling in general, not WWE, not AEW, just in general, is that like you've got stuff going on that doesn't really matter or pertain to that, and they should like be commenting on it a little bit more. Like it's kind of crazy, like, you know, have a baby face everyone loves, like Sammy talking about what the heck is going on, like he lost and like what's going on in this company. Like I think a thing like that would have helped, but I thought it was like as good as you could expect, and really, really like it's probably Punk's best work in WWE since his comeback, in my opinion.
Yeah. I'll get to see him Punk in a minute. I didn't go into the show thinking that we would necessarily get John Cena, The Rock, or Cody. So, you know, like I'm not ragging on WWE for like teasing that and not delivering because they didn't do that. They didn't do that. I do think that like they should have probably had that Rock and Cena promo on this show. Like, look, you can do it whenever, and I get it. There, like, I get the business strategy here of like we've got a lot of shows, we've got a lot of content, we've got a lot of stuff to do between now and WrestleMania. We got a lot of time. We got a lot of time to fill, but you know, I think that there's just value in you do this really big angle and in following up on it right away and you don't need to give away the farm per se, but like just jumping in and just going with it and then pulling back, then taking a week off. But like I feel like there was and I don't know this, but I feel like that there, you know, was a chance on Monday night to kind of all those fans that were kind of talking about the angle over the weekend, all the people who I just mentioned who were, you know, doing, you know, sports opens, you know, on John Cena, like I think you had them for, you know, you had them, and will you keep them, you know, through the week interested in this? Maybe, probably, but I think that you definitely had them in that web of attention within like that 48-hour period. So I think the angle and the story could have benefited from, you know, like your big follow-up promo, like on Raw, on Netflix this week. That said, and I agree with Kevin in the chat here. Kevin says here, I get why the initial surface level is have Cena, Rock, and Cody on the next TV show, but the video package really, really carried it. It was about the sheer emotion of the fans, and Punk's promo was great. So to that end, I think once you kind of make the decision, again, that I wouldn't make, once you make that though, and you say, okay, we're not putting them on the show, I thought the video package work was excellent. Like I think that those videos, like, first of all, you're able to kind of carve out and carve away all the plot holes that there were, you know, because there were some, you know, like, you know, what if Cena didn't win, and there's others. You're able to kind of dance around those a lot easier with a pre-produced video package. And also, I think this like captured, like those promos to me captured the like emotional, like the emotional significance and the historical significance of the turn. Like I thought they did a really nice job of like playing into that. So I would have had him on the show, but I thought these promos, like Kevin says here, I thought that they did the job to kind of give it some juice without having to give away the three guys doing a promo.
What one thing, and then I got like a side point that I think is effective with my side of the argument. So please bear with me here. But what if like Cena, this is a question for you, like a yes or no, I guess. But like if Cena came out and did like what he did in the press conference, like just stood out there and got booed and then left, would that like be good? Would that be worse, the same, or better than what they did on Monday for you?
That would be worse.
Yeah, because I think that would be probably the plan.
Like I would not advocate for that.
And they're probably like figuring out,
because that's like New Day heel trolling at this point.
Yeah.
You know, that's not like I'm kind of hearkening it back to like, okay, this is not a great example because it didn't work in the end, but like you had Steve Austin turn heel at WrestleMania 17. The first segment out on Monday Night Raw the next day is Rock and Austin, and you get that follow-up. Now, didn't work, so maybe that's an argument against my own point here. But I think you had a captivated audience there, and then you gave them that promo. It wasn't Austin trolling people by not saying anything. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And I think like another part of this is I agree with you. I'd rather what they did Monday than him come out and do that. Right? It's obvious. But I would venture to guess too, they're probably still internally, because they didn't want this to get out. So I bet there's not many people that knew. So there's like a creative, like, what's he look like? What's his music? That you don't, maybe they don't have that ready, honestly. Like, or like they had a rough idea. But so the other thing that's like a side thing is like the trend in streaming in recent years, I think is beneficial to WWE side of this decision here, where so few shows just like drop their entire season now. Even Netflix like does like partial seasons to get you just, log on for 2 months basically. Yeah. And everything on Hulu, on Apple, on Amazon is week to week. And I think that's like been more accepted from like the initial rush of getting a whole season in a week. And now people like kind of yearn for week to week on watching a show. So I think WWE is kind of playing into that zeitgeist of, hey, it's fun to watch this episodically, and that's okay. So I think that benefits them in the long run too, to tell a better story than to like, here's this.
Yeah, no, for sure. Thanks, Kevin, for the comment. Also, good to see you. Good to see you here, man. Appreciate you. Anthony says here, Zach and Tyler, I'm predicting that the heel run for John Cena doesn't last long. It ends after SummerSlam, and he becomes a tweener, like you're seeing with Randy. I mean, I think that like I think it's fun, Anthony, to have predictions like that. But to me, like, there's really no indication at this point, like, how long is this going to last? We haven't even seen him out there yet. We haven't seen him, like, is he getting heat at all? Like, I mean, I think he will. And he kind of did when Punk brought it up. We don't know, though. We're not sure. He hasn't stood in front of an audience yet. And so I don't know. To me, if it ends before SummerSlam or right after SummerSlam, I think that would be this not working. Honestly, like, I think they want this to go a long way. I think they want to try to crown, a young babyface with this. Or I also think, and this is just kind of, again, like a totally random prediction. I think they want to do some kind of big special, like some kind of big John Cena final match event where maybe you do a Cody Rhodes John Cena rematch or something. I think they've got their sights set on, if WrestleMania is not the end, it's like, how do you send off John Cena? Like, what at TLC? Like, I mean, like, I don't know. I just think they've got their sights on some kind of big, like, Netflix special event type thing, that's focused on John Cena's retirement.
Yeah, so like a Tyson fight level of like hype around it.
Yes. Like something really, really big. So, I mean, I think, it may end, but I think if it ends that quick, I think that's it. I think it's good that you pivot, but I think that that's not working if that happens. Yeah.
So like on Monday, I planted my flag here. I hadn't heard it, I think, since. So I just want to make sure it's clear here out in the public for everybody. But like, I think a part of this is you cannot underestimate a heel character being like, nah, I'm actually not going to retire. F you guys. And
Yeah.
like, you know, because if like you have that event, it's good on paper, but when you're there, if it's a Cody's, you know, a minus 10,000 to win that match, like that kind of sucks, right? It's like, you know, he's leaving. And if it's like, let's imagine you have that match, everyone thinks Cody's going to win and Cena wins. So you got like a Cena cheating to win at WrestleMania and at that event. Like, does that not set up like Cody's got to finish his story at WrestleMania 42?
Right.
Like that, I'm not saying is likely, but with a heel character, he can lie and say like, oh yeah, I'm not retiring. Forget what I said. I hate all of you. I'm going to hold this title till the end of time because I'm the best. Whatever, right? I just think that is like within the range of possibilities if Cena wants to. You know, it's an arbitrary number. If he can do this and work 6 matches and be a heel, not have to do much, and he's got, you know, 8 Mondays and a Sunday in 2026, like you can do it.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, and there's heat in that too, you know?
Yeah.
I mean, like there's like
lying to people.
Yeah.
And that moment would be crazy because you just think Cody's going to win and like literally just gets like the whole crowd gets derugged. You might actually get people throwing stuff in the ring at that point.
Yeah. Yeah. Yep, exactly. So if you guys want to, like, again, I want to point you back to our member-only episode that we did over the weekend coming out of Elimination Chamber. We reviewed the whole pay-per-view. I mean, and we talked, like, in-depth about Cena turning heel and the options that WWE has and the, you know, like, what does this mean for The Rock and what does it mean for Cody? Like, we really attacked it from all angles. So definitely, we won't relitigate all of that here. But I do want to point you guys to that because it was a fun show. It's up on the Patreon right now, patreon.com/BrassRingMedia. Check it out. CM Punk, you brought up that promo, and we had some folks in the chat bring up the promo. Kevin brought up the promo. It was a tremendous promo. Like, and it was, he had some really good mic work with MJF in AEW. And, you know, so that was very good. But this promo was like, and we've been talking about it the last couple weeks. Even you know, CM Punk, you know, it's going to take a lot to kind of win you over on Punk. Mm-hmm. But even you know, I think even you kind of were like nodding your head at least of like, it's coming together a bit. Like they're like with him, like it, even the Drew McIntyre stuff. Yes, there were like intermittent times where it was okay. There were other times where it was not good. Early on, when he came back to WWE, a lot of it was not good. Like he just could not find his voice or find that gravitas and the confidence. Like you knew it was in there, or like you hoped it was in there if you're WWE, and it just wasn't coming out. And I think the last month, you know, Royal Rumble lead up, post Rumble, I think he's really started to find that. And this, to me, this promo was like a coming together of all of that for him. I mean, he delivered the promo well. He was edgy, you know, like people remember CM Punk being. He had like a good group of heels to play off of. You know, I mean, that's probably the best part of this. Like, you know, John Cena and The Rock, like they gave him a lot to work with, and he took it and he ran with it. And so you didn't have Cena on the show, you didn't have Punk on the show, but you know, you had those video packages, and then you have this. And when you have like one of your biggest baby faces talking about the angle the way that he did, you know, that helps things too. So keep going with what you were saying about Punk. Am I off base, or you know, are things slowing down for him a little bit where he's able to kind of, you know, sound better, sound more confident, take his time, and know who he is as a 44-year-old guy in WWE in 2025?
Yeah. No, I mean, it's been great. He's literally, you know, he's like, I'm the voice of the voiceless again. But it's like this time it's so interesting because it's in kayfabe, right? Like everybody's like, this is awesome that John Cena turned heel in real life, right? And it's like a good story. But like before, Punk was the voice of the voiceless because we hated the product and where the direction it was going, right? Not really anything character to character related. This is character to character related, and it's working. And that's like so much harder to do than be like, hey, I hate this company too, so you'll like me because of that, right? Which is not like easy to do, but that was his main thing. So to do this within storyline and make it work, I think is tremendously effective by him and the entire company. And like you said, the heels around him, etc. The best line for me, making fun of the goosebump thing, I was like, man, that is, he's been
so
he
he
hates that every time. And I'm like, because I wonder, I don't know if I've ever brought it up, but I do think that is so lame that he does that and like so cheesy. And I was like, man, thank you for verbalizing that. And that's like a great babyface thing to do, is to verbalize something that even I like to find nitpicks and complain about them. And if he can find something I'm not even done, then that's impressive. The one thing here is like storyline wise, if you're ready to move to that point.
Yeah, go. Yep.
Like it almost feels like now it's which one of the two, Roman or Seth, are going to be aligned with Cena and Rock, right? Because it feels like he's going to be collecting souls here. So like that's the only way this, like, because with that promo, it's almost like Punk's got to get involved in this Cena stuff. But I don't think he will, and that makes sense if like Seth is the acolyte for them, and then it's Roman's a tweener and you don't know, right? Is that kind of the way this is going? At least in my mind, that's the way they're kind of trying to pivot this.
I mean, if I didn't think that that it was going to be a triple threat with Roman, like, yeah. I think I would agree with you. I think this is more of like just, hey, go out there and do this. We may want to do something with Cena and Punk down the road.
Yeah, down the line.
So like start, just put it out there. Like, that's more what I think it was than like setting up Seth like joining The Rock. Although, I at this point, like with what we've seen from Triple H booking, like you can't rule out really anything.
Because like,
good. And that's good.
And like to me, as the hybrid says here, right? Like Rock's got 2 more souls, right? That's been kind of teased to go. A group of Rock and 3 guys makes sense for like a stable of bad guys. But like for it to make sense and like to take someone's soul, I think they have to be like way over baby faces that turn heel to like have it make sense for this group. Like if Kevin Owens joins him, that isn't like, it's fine, but it's like got to be like Seth and Sammy or something that like join him and people are like, oh my God, what? Maybe Seth is a little tweener, but Sammy would be a mind blowing move to be like, he's out there like with CM Punk and like whatever. And then he turns on Punk, whatever.
What about Logan Paul? What if Logan Paul joined in on this?
Yeah. I mean, he's a heel though. So like,
I know. Yeah.
I just think for storyline, if you're gonna take someone's soul, like if you're, in wrestling, if you're a heel, you don't have a soul, right? In like the black and white of it all, right? So like for it to be like The Rock is like ruining WWE and controlling everything, and all your favorites are turning, it's NWO, but it's like with a new thing, right? Because like I don't know, besides Sammy, who would be more impactful as like that guy's a babyface, and there's like makes no sense. So I do think like just be on the lookout for that, because even Seth is like a little in between, and he's like still loved even though he's stomping people that people like and screwing over CM Punk, etc. So like that makes the most sense because he hates Roman. Rock doesn't like Roman right now. He hates Punk. It just makes sense for him to be aligned. He's really, him and Cena have had their stuff, but it's not like the end of the world. And like Seth is a guy who's the ultimate opportunist in his career. And this is a way for him to be like, okay, I'm not in anything. I got to do something here in character. So, I'm just saying like Vince posting that to like look out for.
I mean, yeah, no, that's it'll be a cool thing to follow, and it's not even really something that they have to necessarily, make good on before WrestleMania. I mean, I think that would make sense, but there's no rule that says they have to. Mm-hmm. Like Seth and Punk, I thought had a really good like pull apart brawl. Like they've done a lot of those recently in WWE. But this one, like, I always just look to the crowd when they do these. Like, and it's like if the crowd's reacting, that helps. And they were all about it. They were all about this fight. And the first thing I thought after I said to myself, this is a good pull apart brawl, was how and why do you even put Roman in the middle of this? Like, which is weird to say because it's Roman Reigns and he's your biggest, arguably your biggest star. And I think that like they are going to really have to work hard to give the audience a reason to put him in this, because I think, the big issue here is Roman and Seth. Like that's the big issue. And then you have an issue with Roman and Seth. Excuse me. The big issue is Punk and Seth. There is an issue with Roman and Seth, but that doesn't really involve CM Punk.
Yeah.
Like, there's not a CM Punk Roman issue at this point. I don't think.
But with the cage match next week, it is like possible that it's not a triple threat too. Like maybe it's just Punk and Roman, and that's I don't know. But that's like I'd rather that for more stakes, and maybe that's for like a contendership. Like whoever wins that gets to, but then you're like giving away that Cena wins too. So I don't know. I guess both would take on Cody happily at SummerSlam. So maybe you do that as like a number one contender for SummerSlam match to like be like, hey, here's your big spot. But it's like, I don't know. I honestly, like, of all the times, I probably would prefer a triple threat because there's like the illusion that The Rock is involved and going to screw over somebody in that. If Seth or Roman, if you don't know who's going to turn, then just Roman and Punk having a good old fashioned. It's crazy that I'm advocating for not a good old fashioned feud, but kind of like where we are, I'm kind of more in line with this Rock thing currently.
Yeah, well, I mean, and that's certainly the argument. It's like, well, that's the biggest thing. So, serve that first. Everything's got to play well. Everything's got to play well with that. Let's see here. We got Sean Plichta in our chat. He is a gold member of Brass Ring Media. What's going on, Sean? Sean says here, what's up, guys? Fun Raw on Monday. The Seth Punk brawl was really good, but man, it's overdone. Yeah, I think we literally said that before you logged on. They do it a lot. This was good, but yeah, don't do it again for a few months. I think that's prudent. That's a prudent decision making for anybody. For anybody in WWE, don't overdo stuff. Thank you, Sean, and thank you for your gold membership, man. Appreciate you very, very much. We do have a super chat here, and let's get to some super chats and some other chats as well. These are from Matthew. First, Matthew says here or asks, does Cena change his attire? What do you reckon? Or does he stay as is and just heel on the WWE Universe and be determined to get his 17th World Championship? WrestleMania is definitely more hype. Yeah, so I think we discussed this on the member show. I think that he should just stay the way he is. Like he is John Cena that is now soulless. And I think that means the same look. I think that means the same not the same entrance, but just you want John Cena to be John Cena just without that John Cena soul. And I think if you can capture that and do that, I think there's heat in that. I think seeing him in a suit or something like that would be just weird. We talked about the music is an issue, but I have not changed my opinion on it. I think you keep Cena in the same attire and change other things about him. To me, that's better than just a complete overhaul. Tyler?
Yeah. Like imagine him walking to the ring.
Right.
Not running and sliding. Like that'd be crazy.
Yep.
Of like all that. So just that bit of it. And like I think his shirt will say like, like my time is now. It's like, the thing, not husband, it's like, it'll be the self-centered WWE is mine now or something like that, right? But it'll probably be the same, his face on it. I don't know what color it'll be, but I do think you do jorts in a t-shirt, but it might say something like heelish on it. But the music, they'll probably do something to like slow it down or like edit it in the middle where like you hear the beginning 8 seconds and then it turns into like more of like a, rock. Not rock,
Travis
Scott. Yeah, whatever. I mean, that is probably going to happen. I'm more with you. They just keep the song and like people are going to boo it like because they're mad at him. So like I think you just got to trust in your audience to play along because it's working so far.
Yeah. Thank you, Matthew. Appreciate it. Good question. Matthew also says here, any truth to Cody turning down The Rock? This was a story that I guess story, quote unquote, but it really was more of a tweet from Dave Meltzer saying that The Rock really wanted Cody to be the one that turned heel. And Triple H did not like that idea. And basically, the powers that be, basically encouraged Cody to just turn it down, like not interested. There is no credible reporting outside of that actually happened. So I would say that at this point, in my mind, Matthew, no, there's no truth to that. Dave since deleted that tweet, so no, I would not be putting my name on that news at this point. The Rock gets what he wants in WWE, so I kind of feel like if Rock wanted him to turn heel, like he would have, even as powerful as Cody is. But so no credible reporting on that.
Yeah, well, I think because you had the option of like Cena was down, so it was like if you don't want to do it, we can do Cena do it and it can be just as good, right?
Right.
So I think that was like the palace intrigue of it. But also, can I do like my media literacy moment? Like it's been a minute since I've done that, but like Dave.
Man, I wish we had a graphic for every time you do this that I can put it up.
A little imaging and a little song. Yeah. Like just look at what's happened. What culture got burned, right? Didn't they say Drew McIntyre was going to win or something? And they
it was somebody else, but yeah.
Okay, but they were they definitely reported. I know they were talking about it. I heard them apologizing. Dave a couple of times here, and then who comes in on the back end to be like, nope, that's not right. Sean Ross Sapp, right? So I'm just so you know, everybody, and this is I don't know this for sure, but I'm always fine to put people on blast. Just know everything you're getting is what Triple H and WWE want you to hear from Sean. So he's the most tight end currently, but that's also just know that's what WWE wants you to hear. So just keep your radar up on that.
For sure. And again, that report was essentially deleted, and it was a tweet. So
and that's not negative on Sean either.
No.
I'm just saying, just know, just like anybody, right? If you're someone in the New York Times and they are a defense reporter, right? They're getting news from someone in the CIA that they want out there. They're not breaking confidential information that,
right?
They're not breaking the Pentagon Papers and potentially going to jail.
Right.
So it's the same. Just know that as you're reading stuff and being okay, this is probably true. Why does WWE want me to hear this? Just think that next step and what they're trying to do, because they're very good at that currently.
Yes, they are. They absolutely are. Thank you, Matt. Appreciate it, man. Let's see. What else we got in the chat here? Let's see here. Yeah, I'm glad somebody brought this up. Cody just doesn't need to turn heel. And I don't know if I trust Dave at all, Sean says. Again, we're talking about somebody that didn't happen, but I think that it's good that Cody was not the guy to turn here, especially after how it was set up. To Cody, I'm gonna throw a bunch of gifts at you, Cody, and here's a car, and then he just says yes. That would have been atrocious booking and storytelling of him. So that's
and in storyline, Cena's the underdog because Cody should beat John Cena at this age, who hasn't worked a lot. So Cena is the one who needs to use steroids, for lack of a better term, to a baseball player. He needs to be Barry Bonds at 40, who's I need to keep going, even though my body would not let me do this. That's basically the story, and it makes way more sense in hindsight.
Yeah, for sure. I totally agree. Thanks, Sean. And that's not to say that Cody is a bad heel. It's just not time. It's just not time. And so if that was the time is not. Yeah, the time is not now. If that was the pitch, I'm sure a lot of things are pitched. And
you say what would it look like if they did that is not a pitch. That's a brainstorm.
It's a brainstorm, and you throw a lot of ideas out there.
That's people with actual power fantasy booking. So
right. Okay, let's. I want to talk about the Rhea Ripley Iyo Sky match. It was the main event of Raw this week. They built it up for essentially 4 weeks because Rhea Ripley cost Iyo Sky on accident a shot at Elimination Chamber, and then Ripley as babyface was "Hey, I apologize. I don't feel like I need to do this, but I want to do it. I want to face you for the title. Let's do it in 3 weeks, at the Raw on Netflix after Elimination Chamber." And then you had some promos and things like that, come up throughout that 3-week span. You do the match. It got a main event treatment. I thought I really liked the match itself. I thought good action, Ripley and Iyo Sky. That's two of the best that you have in WWE right now from an in-ring perspective. So I thought they really brought it with the match. I just absolutely was stunned by the finish. I thought the finish, not the fact that, yes, that Iyo Sky won, but the fact that you book Rhea to get distracted by Bianca Belair, who's not doing anything. It's not like she was just distracted. She totally lost it. And just because Bianca Belair was cheering for Iyo Sky, it really was look, if and I said this in my column in the newsletter, if Rhea comes out and owns this, and this is part of, whatever story they're going to tell going up to WrestleMania, fine, you could retcon this, but I think it's hard to come back from that. She totally shot herself in the foot for absolutely no reason, and now isn't the champion anymore. And it's what are your options here? You either do a triple threat, Bianca, Rhea, and Iyo Sky, and I don't love that. You either do Iyo Sky against Bianca, and I don't love that because Rhea's not on the in one of the big matches, or you hot shot the title back to Rhea between now and WrestleMania, and I don't love that either. If that's what you're gonna do, just keep the title on her and do the match. So no matter how you slice this up, I just thought the finish was not good. And I think surprises and surprise booking can be helpful. We talk about it all the time on the show of you got to make your audience feel like the title or a match outcome is never, you don't ever want it to be completely certain. This type of win for Iyo Sky helps to that end. But man, the road they took to get there was just beyond silly. And in this case, I think it was the wrong time to do, a hot shot shock factor title change.
Yeah, I think there were two pretty bad mortal sins on this show, booking wise. This is one of them because it hurts someone that has clout, especially on that brand week to week on television. We'll get to the other one. If not, I'll bring it up at the end. But in kayfabe, Rhea was more upset with Bianca Belair than she ever was Liv Morgan.
Right. Yes.
So that makes no sense.
Yep.
Eddie's got a good mind because that's where I was going to go. Here's the silver lining I think might be what's going on here. Because Iyo and Bianca is a fine match. And it gets Bianca the title, and you can do the Jade Bianca stuff at SummerSlam, right? If you piece this thing out. Do they need Rhea to be in a triple threat with Tiffany and Charlotte Flair to save that match? Because that thing is DOA.
Probably.
So that's probably what's happening here to me, which sucks. Because why wouldn't you just do Rhea Charlotte?
Just do it.
There would have been some juice you could do. Bianca and Tiffany and Iyo could have joined to that. That either way, it's about the same. You're just kind of pushing stuff around. But I think that's what's going on here.
Yeah. That makes sense. I still don't like it. Yes. Does it save that other match? Yes, no, it does.
I don't think it does.
It saves it from the sense that you won't get Tiffany and Charlotte one-on-one.
You have somewhere to go because Rhea wins that match and she's the champion on SmackDown. There's somewhere to go on Friday after WrestleMania, as opposed to Charlotte or Tiffany still being champion. Either way, it's this still sucks, and this has sucked since last WrestleMania post Bayley winning it, which she didn't do anything.
Yeah, and but the thing is, here's I just don't think that Rhea Ripley is somebody you mess with. I don't think that you sacrifice her to save another feud or to be a, kind of like a filler piece for like a Bianca Belair, whatever's going to happen with her and Jade. Like this should, to me, like this is Rhea Ripley time. This is like prime Rhea Ripley. She gets some of the biggest responses on the show. Like even if I am a fan of her wrestling, but like even if I looked at it just objectively, she gets a top 3 babyface pop on the shows that she's on. It's like, I mean, Jay, Punk, her. Like that's like the trio. And so it's like, I think you got to build some of the company like around her. And instead it's like, oh, well, we're going to sacrifice her here. And we want to do this Liv Morgan thing. So we're going to like sacrifice her there. And she's going to chase the title and she's going to lose the title after looking really bad this week. And to me, just give her big matches. Give her big matches as the champion at WrestleMania. Like, and you had that with Bianca Belair. And now you either don't have it, or you have it in the form of a triple threat, or you have it in the form of like this herky-jerky booking where we're going to toss the title back and forth. And I don't think that's good for her. I think you want her to be a key factor. You wouldn't treat Cody Rhodes that way. And, I don't think you want to treat your top women that way either.
Yeah. She's kind of being treated like Seth Rollins mode.
Yeah, a little bit.
Of like not the priority ever, but like we'll do what you need to do, which
right.
hurts them long term. Here's one thing, we're talking about The Rock, like obviously, like if he's gonna take a woman's soul, let's say, would you rather be like in service to this Jade and Bianca story, where that's why Bianca did it because she like agreed to join The Rock, or do you do like the crazy turn because Rhea's the most over babyface in the company and she's the one that like sides with The Rock? And that's like the story, even though I don't think Tiffany or Charlotte obviously are good enough babyfaces to pull that off. But like if you had to choose, what would you do if Rock has like a woman on his roster? Because it's probably one of those two.
I would choose Bianca, hands down. Like I just think Rhea just doesn't really fit, and I just see her more as like the anti-authority, anti-Rock, like she'd be a really good woman to go against, Bianca Belair.
Setting up a match down the line to like end this.
Right. And I like the idea of like there being a woman in this kind of collecting souls faction as we've deemed it.
And like Bianca's kind of in the zone of Cena, where like talented, can win at any time, but like has kind of, obviously Cena has been involved, but like, Bianca's been treading water for like 2 years, it seems. Yeah. As a character. So it would make sense. Like I need a jolt, kayfabe and real life on my character. And like, it's not where I want to be. And I want to, all that.
Right. We've got some comments on this in the chat here. Sean, our gold member, up first. I love the story that Rhea has never beat. Let me take this again. I love the story that Rhea has never beat her, but Rhea Bianca is the match, and Rhea looked so bad. Bianca was clearly rooting for a great match between the two of them. It's a bad look. Yeah, I mean, somebody else later in the chat talked about the follow-up online. Joshua, who's also a Brasserie Media member. Joshua, thanks so much. Josh says here, the follow-up online from Rhea Ripley in an interview was good, and it makes this better in retrospect. So I'm willing to see this play out. You can't keep that, whatever promo that was that you're talking about. I haven't seen it. And so you got to put it on TV. You got to put it on, something that, the millions of people watch. And if she can like promo her way out of this and, maybe she just owns it. Like, I don't know. There's a million ways you could go about trying to do it. I'm willing to see that play out for sure. It's not over yet. It's like most things in wrestling. It's all in the follow-up here. But to me, like they dug themselves a very deep hole on this, and we'll have to really, really hit, a grand slam to get out of it. So, we'll see. Sean says here, it helped Iyo more by losing in a great match with Rhea. Iyo is in a rough spot too. Yeah. I mean, no one's ever going to be like, nah, I don't want the world title. But this quote unquote protected Rhea. Not really, but I guess that's what they're going for.
Yeah. It definitely protect her. But yes, that's what they were going for.
Right, but that's the thing. It didn't protect her. It just made her look worse.
Yeah.
Like,
Well, Triple H just watching this like, man, I don't know whose fault this. Triple H knows whose fault it is. It was somebody's fault on like why this looks so bad. Because like they talked about this is the plan, and did Rhea just oversell it? Did Bianca undersell it? Whatever. Or is it just a bad idea? And they were like, oh, it'll probably be fine. They're all pros, and it just like blew up. So I'm curious what that like truth serum Triple H in Gorilla would be at that point.
Yeah. No, it's a good point. Because like that was the issue. Like I think that like if there's a if like Rhea walks by Bianca and gives her like a little glance or stops and looks at her or whatever, and then keeps on her business and then loses, okay, like I think we're saying a lot of the same things, but we're saying it without as much fire because it just kind of happened. This was like they were like coming to blows for no reason on the outside of the ring, pushing and shoving, and it wasn't Bianca that was kind of orchestrating it. It was Rhea who was kind of orchestrating it all, and that's the part that I think that like just didn't land. I want to make sure to get to this. We got to roll here a little bit. What did you think of just the shock booking here of getting the title off of Rhea? Like, because that's another thing that stood out. It wasn't just that they did it the way they did it, but it was that they just did it all together. Like 5 weeks ahead of WrestleMania, you're changing titles around. Is this one too many in the last month in terms of like shock stuff coming out of Cena and coming out of Jay winning the Royal Rumble? Or like, is this just, hey, we need to recondition our fans here that any match we put on TV can have any outcome, and people need to watch, and they need to watch with, a blank slate of, we don't know what's going to happen.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I mean, I think they did enough hype. Like you said, 4 weeks of hype. It's the main event post this John Cena stuff. Like they put a lot of work into it, and like even having Iyo come out and be like greeting Bianca, like we even talked about on the Patreon show, like that's weird. It's either like the biggest red herring of all time, or they're pulling the trigger here and something else is afoot. So like I was not shocked to see it happen. I mean, I was shocked the way it did happen, but I think WWE as like an entity did enough to be like, hey, this is like totally reasonable. Also, I think like there is some mentality of like, hey, we are not going to change a single title for like 3 months, like a major title, like US, Intercontinental, either women's title, the 2 world titles. We didn't even change the tag titles, the men's tag title. So like, I think there's probably something in the back of your head as a booker that you got to like change something at some point and not be fully like, hey, this is our roster January 1st till May 1st, essentially, with our champion.
Yeah.
So I think that's part of it too, which is that good or bad? I don't know. I think it's fine right now. I think that's like a case by case thing, but that's probably the human nature of it.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, like, look, after a lot of years with Vince McMahon booking and these title matches, just, they mattered, but like they mattered, but they didn't generate a ton of drama because you just knew what was going to happen. And I applaud the current creative team for like wanting to try to change that, whether it's the Rumble, Cena, this, I think when you book a major match like this in the main event, you want people to tune in because they're invested in seeing what's going to happen, not just because, we'll see this good match that we know Rhea is going to win. And I think a lot of people went into that Monday night going, I'm looking forward to Rhea and Iyo from a match perspective, but Rhea is going to win. AEW, I think, runs into this a lot on Dynamite too, where they're like, this is going to be a great match with Will Ospreay, but we pretty much know what's going to happen.
Yeah, I don't think, but Brian Keith is not Iyo Sky either in like the long term.
Sure, no, yeah, I wasn't even specifically talking about that, but like,
I know what you mean.
But
him and Ricochet, right, is more
right. Him and Ricochet, yeah, exactly. Like, ooh, this is going to be a great match. That's like, we know what's going to happen.
Yeah.
WWE had got into that they were there for years and years and years, and it hurt the product. So I like this move for that reason, but you got to make sure it makes sense to do. And I think this did. We'll see in the follow-up, but it's worth pointing out that like in the last month, we've had 3 major shock value booking moves, and you know, it's worthwhile.
Yeah, like, I would say like 1 out of 3 is where I would be at right now, and then working long term. But that's just me.
Yeah. Because and you can't go overboard this way either of like constantly doing. WCW 2000 will tell you that ain't good either. It's not good either. Sean says here, I don't like crazy booking like that. The obvious move can be the right one. Yeah, for sure. And as long as you stay balanced with that and maintain your integrity with that, like I think that's a good good place to land on it. Fundamentally. All right, we'll wrap up with this last bit of news. AEW.
Can I get to my other mortal sin?
Oh yeah, get up to your other mortal sin. Yes.
Yeah, it was Gunther going toe to toe with Otis. I mean, it was like totally unacceptable, and like
I had to think. Yep.
It was like a total buried. It was like the vintage golden shovel of Triple H. I thought. So I don't know what happened. I know he's world champion, but he is so losing to Jay, and I don't know what Gunther is after WrestleMania. I thought that was insane booking. That was like, what who'd see him Punk wrestle for like 12 minutes, like his second match on Dynamite or something.
Yeah.
Like Max Caster or something.
Yeah.
There was some crazy match where he like went toe to toe with somebody and it was like insane.
Yeah. Or was it like Bobby Fish? It might have been Bobby Fish.
Maybe Bobby Fish. It was someone not good. And that's what this, I mean, I like Otis, but like to have like a hope spot for Otis against your world champion that is supposed to be like a dominant character that you need Jay to overcome. Like this story is insanely bad at the moment. And I could not believe what I was watching.
I'm very happy you brought that up. Not enough people are talking about this.
Yeah.
It was so bad. It was so bad. Like and it wasn't a bad match. It just was, it shouldn't have been a good match. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like it was, if you were just watching that, you'd be like, oh, this is a fun match. But it made no sense. It didn't help Gunther. If you want this Jay thing to be as hot as it can be, and you want that moment at WrestleMania to be as hot as it can be, Gunther has to be the most dominant champion in the company. And having Otis, like having people like rally behind, oh my God, Otis is going to win. Like that's not what you want.
Like in kayfabe, I think I've brought this up before, but like if like Monday they announced at the first minute of the show, like, oh, it's Braun Breaker and Gunther are fighting for title, like Braun Breaker would win in kayfabe, right? Like he's such a stronger character, and like in, if you did the WWE 2K ratings, like to me he's more of a dominant force, and like the way Gunther would win. But that's how I view them as characters currently.
Right, and the thing is, like, I think you can. Like Gunther is easy. Like this is an easy, like just have him destroy Otis. Like nobody cares about Otis. Like we like Otis and he's fine, but like like just have him destroy Tozawa and have him destroy Otis and R-Truth and like, whoever else. But like, come on. Otis is not a priority, not even close to a priority.
Yeah, like he should be destroying Penta. Because they're, Penta and Kaiser doesn't mean anything to anybody. So, and then like, that's what he should be like, that level of guy, give Penta a hope spot. But like, that's the match Penta should be in currently, not Otis. And then that's like a totally acceptable, like, okay, Gunther dominated most of it, but he got cocky. And like, that's how Jay's going to get the advantage, is that he's going to be that plucky underdog that takes advantage of when he gets that hope spot. Like, that's the story. I don't know.
Yeah. Well, and Sean says here, your points are very fair. Did you not like the Tozawa stuff either? No, I liked the Tozawa stuff because you didn't have this element of Tozawa. Like, the Tozawa match was like 2 minutes.
Yeah.
Like 2 minutes long. Gunther beat him. He got like a drop kick in at the beginning, like a shotgun drop kick right at the start of the match to kind of like jumpstart things. But like right after that, it was like, nope, Gunther took control and put Tozawa down. So, I think that it's not that you can't do these matches. It's just how you do them. And this felt to me like, it'd be really funny if like we had a fun, back and forth match with Otis and the crowd got a little bit behind him. It's just like, no.
That's a dark match to get a crowd hyped.
Right. Yeah.
Before, like, this was like totally a dark match segment.
That's like a house show main event. Like,
but not even. It's just a way to get like Jay out there to brawl at a house show.
Oh, sure. Yeah.
Yeah. Like this is a house show segment, not even a show. I should not have been on TV. So.
No. I'm glad you brought it up because I agree. I wrote the same thing in the column. So yeah, we're in lockstep on that. All right, last thing, AEW. And I'm gonna pull up the info so I don't get it wrong here. I want to read it word for word, but it's an interesting business conversation. Let's see. Scrolling.
I don't know what this is, so I can't filibuster for you.
You can or you can't.
I cannot. I have no idea what you're about to bring up.
Oh,
did this happen today?
Yeah, no, it's hold on. Now
Maybe I do. And
I'm like totally overplaying my hand here. It's not like that big. It's just news.
Like Tony Khan selling company. Oh, I didn't hear.
No. All right, here we go. AEW has signed on with Prime Video for pay-per-view distribution, beginning with Revolution this weekend. So this is from the press release. All Elite Wrestling and Prime Video today announced a multi-year agreement to offer AEW pay-per-view events for purchase to fans across the United States, Canada, and the United Kingdom, beginning with AEW Revolution on March 9th. The deal represents a significant evolution in the distribution of AEW's content, making AEW's cutting-edge pay-per-view events more accessible than ever to fans through Prime Video. This includes all tentpole events, including Revolution, Dynasty, Double or Nothing, All In, Forbidden Door, All Out, Wrestle Dream, Full Gear, and World's End. So, kind of, I'm a little surprised by this because they've got the Max deal, right? I mean,
it's kind of like WWE disperses their stuff throughout. Like I know it's on Peacock and that's NBC Universal, so that's USA, but they're also Netflix, right? So they're on two big entities, right? So
well, yeah, but like you can't buy a WWE pay-per-view on Netflix in the United States and on Peacock. But like you could, I guess, buy it on Max and on Prime.
Yeah, I mean, that's fine.
That's weird.
That's fine. I mean,
like, why would Max want that? Like, why would they allow that?
Well, Max doesn't care about much of anything content-wise currently. So they probably like there's a guy making like 80K in Burbank that was like, yeah, that's fine, and like signed off on it probably. So
probably. So yeah, they're not on Max yet. You can't buy pay-per-views on Max yet, but that was the plan. Maybe that's not the plan anymore.
Yeah, so maybe that was the plan, is to do like, hey, you pay us more, and we'll do these. It's $50 still, right, on Prime?
Yeah.
It's still so like, what's fine. It's not BR, which is the worst of all time.
Yes.
Can you still watch it on Triller? I do like Triller's platform.
I do like Triller. Good question. I don't know. This just dropped, so I've not investigated this much.
I mean, obviously, it's nothing but good news in my opinion. You get more. You're on the homepage when it's there, and you're now working with the biggest company in the world, and a top 4 entertainment brand in the world to buoy you up, and it just again confirms AEW is going to be around. I mean, the length of Tony Khan's adult life, at least, right?
Yeah.
Not to handicap AEW, but I would say like 30 and a half years, I would take the slight over on that AEW existing. And this just helps solidify that.
Yeah. I think this is definitely a good move. I mean, I think that like, if you're able to like have your deal with Max and like, maybe you don't do the pay-per-views there anymore because you have this, like that's smart. Because this is bigger, and I think Prime is just it's a good platform.
Yeah. I mean, and they won't like anything. You can basically any movie you can rent for $3 on Prime. It's like that sort of distribution deal,
right?
While that's like the night of, and then I don't know how long does it take for it to pop up. Is it 2 weeks and then it's on Max to watch the event? That's like the strategy here. Yeah. It's like the old school, like we're talking about WCW, Bash at the Beach, where it's like, hey, you try and juice like 2 weeks of people buying this thing, and then it's free on Max, and that's you still get money for both. So better than being on Bleacher Report. You can never watch it again, and you paid $50, which was absolutely awful experience. I could not believe it the first time I went back to watch something and I couldn't watch it. I was so upset.
Yeah, it makes in these day and age, it makes no sense to do it.
Yeah. Can't do like a 5 years back. Those are going to be starting up soon, so everyone be ready. Maybe not here, probably not here. Definitely not here, I would say, at least with my involvement. But like, people are going to be still like, hey, it's the first episode of Dynamite. Let's watch all the way through. So,
yeah. I mean, yeah. And like Max has that now. But yeah, this is it's a good move for the company, of course. I mean, yeah, like it's not saving the consumer any money, but it's opening themselves up to more potential eyes. So.
And eventually, I think AEW will get to that point. Just remember, WWE went 35 years before you didn't have to pay $75 for a pay-per-view. So, like, if you never had to pay a $75 pay-per-view and have your cable bill be like $280, then I don't, small violin over here, because those were rough days for your boy back then when I was buying those.
Sean says, that's stupid. It should be on Prime so you don't have to pay $50. So dumb. I mean, there is there is expectation, I think. Less so now a little bit. But, once WWE started giving away WrestleMania for $5 on Peacock, it's like, okay.
To Sean's point, and I think, Sean, you can confirm or deny this, I think someone like Sean, who's a big wrestling fan, if it was free on Prime, would certainly be watching like every AEW pay-per-view as it was on. And now it's like, and this is fair. We're all got to make choices in life. And it's like, sometimes Sean's like, oh, I'll just listen to you guys.
Yeah.
Or I'll watch it later when it's on Max. Like, that's a big difference in fan and getting your product over too. So
Right. Yeah. And if you lose Sean, do you pick up some random buy, because you're on Prime? I don't know. That's what they have to see. Thanks, Sean. All right, guys, we'll wrap up there. Appreciate everybody. Thanks so much for joining us in the live chat. Thanks for watching. Thanks for listening. Again, you can download the show on our podcast feed, so don't miss that. We have stuff dropping there from us and all of our other Brass Ring Media shows throughout the week. So search Brass Ring Media wherever you get your podcasts, and you can do it. Thanks to Matthew for super chats. Thanks to our gold members, Sean, Andrew, and Adam. We very much appreciate them. And if you're interested in checking out membership, and we hope that you are, give us a shot. It's on Patreon, patreon.com/Brass Ring Media. You get a member-only podcast once a week. You get all of our PLE review shows for everything, but Elimination Chamber last week, Revolution this weekend. You get access to our Discord community, full access to the newsletter, and other odds and ends stuff that are cool. And with WrestleMania coming out, we got some exciting stuff on the horizon too. So thank you in advance for that. We'd love to have you. It's only $4. Give us a shot. Tyler, any final words?
I don't think so. I thought Sean was doing a Roddy joke here, but I think he's talking about Adam joining the gold membership. So maybe so I think this, and we're talking about tomorrow or whenever we do it, we'll talk off air when we're going to schedule this, but I am really looking forward to the AEW pay-per-view this weekend. I think they built like 4 matches really well that are not for the world title. So I'm excited to talk about that and see where it goes.
Yep, we will preview AEW Revolution on our second show. We'll let you guys know when that is going to be. And we'll be back. So thanks so much for tuning in. We'll talk to you all real soon. Have a wonderful rest of your Wednesday. See ya.